Okay, so welcome to, this is the first gold and senior gold call of 2023. So we should probably, we'll see here, let's see who joins us, but we might have way more than we normally do. It's kind of like, can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, so. I have a feeling maybe this Zoom will be kind of like a gym at the beginning of the year, totally packed. And then by about January 27th, there'll be about 4 of us. So whatever, work with the willing, right? Let me go check real quick the other computers in the house and make sure they're turned off. I'll be right back, okay? Hey guys. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. We have dead end road internet access out here in the middle of nowhere. So sometimes it's just a little jankety. And so we can only do about one Zoom at a time. So that's what we're doing here. So anyway, we are going to get started. One of the things I want to do is just maybe there's some people that are on that are new or will be watching this video later on that are new to this call. So the purpose of this call, the purpose of this Zoom is to help you go gold, is to help you go senior gold, or to help you help someone on your team go gold or senior gold. So really we kind of make these calls we're pretty loose. So we just kind of, you guys run the call mostly. That's what we've done in the past. You guys are sharing what you're doing, what you're not doing, what's working, what's not working, what your struggles are, what your victories are, and we just kind of work through it from there. I will say that the ones that are on this call have led the team in growth the last at least last couple months of 2022. So I don't know. Maybe it's a coincidence. I have no idea. But anyway, some of the people that are on this they're doing great. And what we've seen over the last few months is just growth not only on teams, but growth within people. We have, towards the end of 2022, we had people on this call that are afraid to do live videos. They're doing live videos. We have people that are afraid to do in-person events. They're doing in-person events. So the amount of personal growth that we've seen with this group has been really exciting. And I think that we're going to continue with that through 2023. So I have huge expectations for this group, for this call. One of the things that we're going to do in 2023, this call has been an hour in the past. We're going to make it 30 minutes because your time is valuable. And so we're going to shorten it to 30 minutes. If we think we need more than that as we go forward, then we can always adjust. But my thought is, you don't need to be listening to me for an hour. 30 minutes is probably plenty. And then it's just a matter of going and doing, what we discuss. So we'll try to stick with 30 minutes and yeah, so that's kind of what we have. Any questions before we get moving here? Nothing. Perfect. Okay, so what I want to hear, Actually, I'm not going to even hear anything right off the bat. One thing I want to know, who has goals? Who has their goals written out for 2023? 1, 2, 3, 2.5. Okay, so perfect. It's exactly where I wanted to start. We need to start, we need to write down our goals. If we don't know where we're going, could you imagine going on a vacation? And it's like, where are we going? Well, I don't know, but I'd like to go somewhere. All right, perfect. We're probably not going to get anywhere. So one of the things I think that is important is to write down our goals. This is a great place to start, especially at the beginning of a new year. You know, all of us finished at different spots, different places in 2022. Some of us hit our goals for 2022. Some of us maybe fell short. Some of us maybe fell way short. It's okay though. 2022 is over. It's like, so last year, right? So we just have to move forward and start over. So my suggestion to you is to start with goals. You need to write your goals down. We need to write our goals down, right? Me included. It just gives you, what it does is it gives you a target. It gives you something to shoot for. If we don't know what we're shooting at, why, it's really hard to hit it, right? Or I heard a guy say one time, he said, if you don't know where you're going, then any train will get you there. Well, we need to know where we're going so we get on the right track. And so what we're going to do, we've done this before, and we're going to go through this really fast. You'll notice that a lot of what we share on this, or a lot of what Megan and I teach, is the same thing over and over and over again. We don't really do any new revelation. We just stick with what's worked for us over the last 7 years. And so there is no magic bullet. There is no special revelation coming that's going to just make everything easy. We just do the same things over and over again. So when it comes to goal setting, I go right back to the same book I read about 5 years ago. This book is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's been around for about 100 years, and it's an amazing book as far as mindset. It really doesn't have much to do with getting rich. Here, I'll show it to you in case you guys like to read. I'll just throw that up there. It's a classic book written right after the Great Depression, where they interviewed people who succeeded in and through the Great Depression. And a lot of it has to do mainly with mindset. Really the mindset behind success, the mindset behind money. It's kind of a deep book, but it was very challenging for me. And I still resort back to it, especially when it comes to goal setting. And so this is what I want to cover again today. We covered this probably back in October-ish, maybe. For those of you that have been on this Zoom call for the last few months, we covered this in October, and we're going to cover it again. We're just going to go back to setting goals. So one of the first things that they do, there's 6 steps to goal setting. And this is extremely important. This is the best. I've read tons and tons of books on business, on success, on goals, on all that stuff. This is the best I've come across. So for the first thing, and this is just in light of your Plexus business, but you can also apply this to your life. You can apply it to money. You can apply it to whatever, weight, exercise. Like, you can apply this goal setting idea to really anything in life, but we're going to stick primarily with our Plexus business. So the first thing that it says is, fix in your mind the exact, now this is talking about money in here, but we can apply it to, as far as your Plexus business goes, you can apply it to points, you can apply it to your monthly income, whatever it is you want to do. But the first thing is, it says, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. And I will print this, I will post this again in the Gold and Senior Gold Zoom Facebook group so you can see it. But the first thing is fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. It's not sufficient merely to say, I want plenty of money. Be definite as to the amount. There's a psychological reason for definiteness, which will be described in a subsequent chapter. So the first step is, what is it exactly that you want? How many points do you want? What rank do you want to be? How much monthly income do you want your Plexus business to bring into your household? Be specific. You know, general goals normally don't get hit. From what I've experienced, extremely specific goals get hit. And the same way with prayers, by the way, I've learned. Just a general prayer, a lot of times sometimes answered, sometimes not. I mean, you don't even know what is being answered if you're general. But what I've learned is being very specific, even in my prayer life. It just changes. It just changes the way you pray, and it changes how the prayers are answered. So be very specific in what you're wanting. Don't be general in what you want. So that's the first step. The second step is determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money or rank or points, whatever you desire. There is no such reality as something for nothing. So the second thing is, what are you going to give in order to get that specific goal you set in step one? What are you going to give, or what are you going to give up? It might be an issue of giving up something. Maybe there's a time waster in your life that you need to give up, and that you need to make a decision. I'm going to give up whatever that thing is, you know. I'm going to give up sleeping till noon to hit my goal that I set in step one, right? Whatever. Or what am I willing to give? Maybe you have to set a certain time. Like, I'm willing to give X number of hours or minutes or whatever to hit this goal per day. I mean, it's your goal. You guys get to decide what it is. That's the cool thing about this. But that's the second step. The third step is establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money, points, rank you desire. When are you going to hit this? Open-ended goals rarely happen. You know, timelines are extremely important when it comes to goal setting, because it gives you a sense of urgency. You know, a kind of a someday, sometime, I maybe sort of might want to do something more in Plexus. Like, that's a great idea, but we need to be very specific in where we're going, what we're going to give to get there, and when we're going to get there by. Right? So the third one, again, just to repeat that, is establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money, points, rank you desire. Fourth, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once. Whether you're ready or not, put this plan into action. So having a goal is great, but we have to have a plan on how we're going to carry it out, right? And the definite plan, you get to decide what that is. Whether it's doing, part of your plan could be X number of reach outs a day. Part of your plan can be so many live videos a month, a week, so many posts a day. It can be so many live, not live, I just mentioned that, but so many in-person events a month. I mean, you get to create this plan and put this plan together. It might mean signing up 3 people a month. That could be part of your plan. It could be going to Gold School. It could be part of your plan. Helping someone go to Gold School as part of your plan. You know, again, I think it's important to be extremely specific when we're putting these goals together, and it's extremely specific in every one of these steps, and then following them out. Now, one thing I want to warn is sometimes what we do, and I have had a problem with this in the past, and maybe you can relate. I'll get stuck on the plan, right? And if my plan's not perfect or whatever, then you end up spending a month on your plan, because you want to get it perfect, and you've lost a month of 2023. Start simple. You can always add to the plan. We're not like carving this into stone, right? You can adjust the plan. Just get started. I mean, part of your plan is, I'm just going to start, whatever, reaching out today. Okay, great. That's a great plan. Or I'm going to join this Zoom or whatever. Just so the point is, just get started. Don't get caught up in getting stuck making this perfect plan, right? Because about what I've learned in this business, about the time you have a perfect plan put together, you need to adjust it anyway. So you have to be a little fluid, in some of these ideas. So anyway, fourth, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once. Just start putting it into action. And the thing is, let's just be honest here. If you've been in this long enough, you really don't need more information. Like, if we did what we already know to do, we'd probably have hit our goals by now. Like, we know, well, I don't really know what to do. Well, who have you talked to about Plexus today? Well, nobody. Yeah. What about yesterday? Well, the dog had to get his nails done, right? We know the things that need to get, we don't need more info. We need to apply the things we already know to do. Like, the steps of this business are extremely simple. They're not, I mean, that doesn't mean they're easy by any means, because this business is not easy. This business is not for wimps. I've said that before. It can be incredibly challenging, but the steps to success in this business are taking action, like Angie just said in the chat, taking action with the information we've already got. We already know what to do, guys. So part of your plan don't wait for, again, special revelation to come down from the mountain, or for the burning bush or the manna from heaven to come and give you the special bullet that it takes to go diamond or sapphire, emerald, whatever it is. Just apply what you already know to do. There's just a freedom in that, but applying what we already know to do is work. And we don't want to do that. We want, we want to just float on into our goal and sit on the beach and drink our Mai Tais, because that's the life of a diamond, right? It's just not that way. It's just not the way it is. So create your plan. The fifth step is write out a clear, concise statement of the first four steps, basically, but write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the time limit for its acquisition, and state what you intend to give in return for that money, points, or rank. And then describe clearly the plan which you intend to accumulate it. So what would that look like? So you end up writing out a statement. Again, the statement it's your statement. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So don't get so caught up on making it perfect. Just make it true, make it honest, and make it clear and simple. We don't want to write out a 17-page. I mean, we're not, we don't need a 17-page document. We need a short, concise statement. So what the statement, let's just give an example of what it would sound like. I want to go gold, or we'll see, a concise statement of the amount of money. Okay, so let's just apply it to rank or points. Gold is 100 points, right? So let's say your goal is to go gold. When we write out the clear, concise statement, it shouldn't say, I want to go gold. Our words, the words we use are extremely powerful. Instead, it would say something like this: I, Justin Goff, will hit gold. I will rank up to gold. by whatever, February 14th, by Valentine's Day 2023, I will rank up to gold. And I will do this, whether it's I will give up binge watching, you name the show, right? Old Friends episodes, whatever it is, I don't know what it is, whatever the time thing, whatever the thing is you're willing to give up to get this goal, or whatever you're willing to give to get that goal, write that down. You know, I will hit gold by February 14th, 2023. I will quit binge watching old Andy Griffith shows to do it, or I will work 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day, 4 hours a day, whatever works for you. And then describe clearly the plan in which you intend to hit it. So I, Justin Goff, will hit gold by February 14th, 2023. I will quit binge watching whatever it is, and I will start working X number of hours or minutes a day to hit this goal. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do all the things I already know to do. I'm going to reach out every single day. I'm going to make it a goal to share Plexus with some person every day. I'm going to do X number of live videos a day. I'm going to, and describe the plan and how you're going to get there. These are the things I'm going to do every day, week, month to hit that goal. And here comes the dividing line, number 6. The first 5 are incredibly simple to do. Number 6 is where people stop. Because this is where it gets real. This is where accountability happens. Number 6, read your written statement out loud twice a day. Once just before retiring at night, and once after you get up in the morning. As you read, see, and feel, and believe yourself already in possession of the goal. That's why it's incredibly important the words we use when we write out the statement. If I write it out and I read it every day, I would like to do this compared to I will do this, it gives you a different attitude. So number 6 is where people get hung up. Because again, you're starting to read this out loud. You have to believe what you wrote down. A lot of times we won't read it because we don't believe it, or we don't want to do it. So when you start reading it out loud, it gets real, and you become you and your statement become your accountability partner. So number 6 is a line in the sand, is what it is. And again, I have a picture of this. I will put it in the in that messenger group. But I think this is where we need to start. And my encouragement to you would be start here. Start setting a goal. And the thing is, you'll get better. Once you start setting goals, the first one might be it may be, I'm going to be diamond by March 1st. Okay, well, possible. Yeah. Okay. Possible. If you have a plan, you can stick with it. Yeah. But you'll get better at this the more you do it. And the more you do these things, just in any area of life, the more you set these goals and the more you do these things, the better you're going to get at it. So it's kind of like putting together a financial budget. The first one you do, it may be a train wreck. But you get better as you keep doing it. So that would be my encouragement on how to start this new year, is to start with goals. You have to have goals written down. And any questions on those 6 steps at all? Anything that don't be afraid to ask questions, but any questions that you have about any of those 6 steps, anything that you don't understand or you don't like, anything you don't want to do, we can talk about all of it. If you've been on these calls before, we're not afraid to cover anything. So What do you got for me on those goal setting steps?
I think the hardest for me is trying to set a realistic deadline that I can believe in, but that also pushes myself. I'm trying to find that balance.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great point. A goal should stretch you, not to the point necessarily of exhaustion or burnout, but a goal should stretch you a little bit, to dig a little bit deeper. And I think that's one of the cool things about these 6 steps is the second step is you're willing to give or give something up in to get it. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, or if any of us keep doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we've got. So you're going to have to probably, you know, your goal is going to have to stretch you a little bit. If you're wanting to go further, farther, higher in any area of life, we're going to have to do stuff different to get further, farther, and higher. Whether it's a physical fitness goal, financial goal, relationship goal, plexus goal, it doesn't really matter. So it should stretch you. You know, to get to the next level in anything of life, you're going to have to do more, or you're going to have to make at least make an adjustment to be more efficient. Amber, what do you got?
Hopefully you can hear me.
Yep.
I would love to be Ruby by convention, but I feel like that may be, like Alicia was saying, it might be too big of a goal for me to hit, but like, I don't know, but I'm thinking that from a mindset of, I don't have any runners with me either.
Yet.
But I have a runner. I mean, that goal could happen really quickly. So I want my goal to be realistic, but at the same time, like, I keep scaring myself whenever I write down a huge goal. So there's that.
Goals should scare you. If it doesn't scare you, it's quite honestly, it's not big enough. It's just a random, just continue doing. A goal should scare you. It should stretch you. It should cause a little pain. I mean, if you really want what you say you want, it should stretch you. It should cause some discomfort.
Well, thinking about Ruby by convention definitely does cause discomfort and terrifying moments of thought process.
I read a book, and I've got like 1 billion books, it seems like, on my shelf. I don't remember which book it was, but I think it was by Mark Batterson. He has some good stuff. If you've ever read anything by Mark Batterson, it's really good. But anyway, I don't know if it's him or not. Anyway, he says, inch by inch, it's a sense. Inch by inch, it's a cinch. Mile by mile, it's a trial. So my intention to you, I guess my encouragement to you is, let's not focus so much on Ruby. Like, what's the next step for you? How many points did you end up with in 2000 or at the end of December?
Like 16 or 18, maybe.
18 points?
Yeah. 16 to 18 points. I can't remember which one. It was somewhere in there.
So, I mean, and what's the highest rank you've been?
Senior silver.
Make that your first goal. Don't worry about Ruby. Yeah, Ruby would be great. I mean, you can have a long-term goal, but if your goal that you're writing down right now is Ruby by June, you won't make it. It's too long of a gap, too much ground to cover. Like, let's cover re-ranking senior silver by, whatever, end of January. So I mean, the don't neglect, guys. One thing I do want to encourage: don't neglect what we consider small goals. All the small goals is what helps us get the big one. Like, a lot of times we get so destination focused. I was just talking to my son about this in devotions this morning. He and I are going through a book together And we get so wrapped up in the end result that we forget to enjoy all the journey and all the small steps it takes to get there. If you take care of the small steps, the Ruby takes care of itself, because you're not going to step into Ruby. It just doesn't work that way. You can have a long-term goal of Ruby. That's great. And I support that. I applaud that. But we got to take the first step first. And then that's what I was talking to him about, is just taking that first step of faith first. Once you get in motion, it's easy to steer the car. You can't steer a parked car, right? So I say you just have to get into motion. So set the first goal as re-ranking senior silver. That's a little bit easier to manage, isn't it?
For sure, because you literally, like, I felt like a breath of release
Yeah.
just writing down
Right.
that first goal.
Yeah. Don't neglect the Bible. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about not neglecting the day of small beginnings. We think that the goal has to be this big, beautiful thing. Well, how is re-ranking to senior silver is a big, beautiful thing too. Why? Because it sets into motion confidence. It sets into motion boldness. How does a kid grow up to be, and by 18, they're incredibly confident and can go conquer the world? How do they do that? Lots of little victories along the way. That's how they did it, right? And so don't just focus on this big, winning the war sort of mentality. Focus on all these little battles and all the little steps it's going to take in your plan that you're writing down to win those battles. That's how you get to the big stuff. Is all the little things. Who else has something on some of these goal setting ideas or the 6 steps? Anybody?
There's a couple things that keeps coming up for me, because I've been asking the same question to myself over and over and over. Why am I not senior gold? Because I know it's somewhere up here, and I feel like my brain is just blocking me from it. And so I've just been asking that over and over and over and over and over. And there's 2 things that keep coming up for me, and even writing some of these down kind of brings up that again. So I really want to tackle it. And one of them is the fear of rejection is so huge. And I've shared it so much over the last 5 years, and I've done so much work, and I'm getting so much better, but it still rears its ugly head. And I had a really kind of mean message, and someone blocked me, a good friend of mine and my husband's, and he messaged my husband too. And I was horrified. And I just have been trying to deal with that myself and let it go at the same time. But that kind of brought those feelings up where I'm like hesitant to message someone. I'm like, I don't want to, trigger anybody or step on any toes. And that's such a huge thing for me that I really want to overcome, because number one, I feel like I have something awesome to offer. And I have a great testimony. My life is proof that these products work, and I know there's people who need them. And I feel very strongly that the Lord wants me to do this business, and I know my husband does. And, and so I know this messaging people, and also I love messaging people. I love keeping in touch. Even before Plexus, I was always keeping in touch with people and messaging people. So that's kind of my thing that I do anyway. So I really, really want to overcome this fear of rejection. And I know it means it's how I feel about myself. So when I feel like people don't respect me, then I know that I'm not respecting myself. So I've been trying to deal with everything that comes up so I can, I've even tried doing, I want rejection. I love rejection, just trying to, overcome that. And I know I am doing better, and I know I will overcome it. And it'll probably be something that is going to rear its ugly head my whole life. But that's something that I really, really want to get better at handling, is negativity from other people, rejection, and not fear it so much that I'm afraid, I will analyze if I should message someone or not. God will lay someone on my heart, and I'll analyze it a little bit going, well, how are they going to respond to me? Because I'm not in the mood to put up with whatever, they might throw my way. And so that's something that I'm really working hard to overcome. And the second one is the mundane. I do notice that when something's kind of mundane and boring, I'll put it off. And so it's almost like from one extreme to the next. I'm avoiding the scary stuff and then I'm avoiding the mundane. So those are two things I really want to work on to be able to handle with ease, where it's like I heard Ray Higdon, he did with Go for No, he did a marketing version of Go for No. And he said he had to get to the point where it doesn't even bother him anymore. No's, rejection, rudeness, it doesn't even, but he said he had to really work hard to get to that point because he had such a huge fear at first too. So I want to get to that with the mundane and with the fear. I just want to, where it's just routine and it's just part of it. So.
Right. No, both great things. I'm looking for something here. This isn't my typical Bible, so when I have my Bible, I know like what side of the page it's on and where it's at, but this one I don't. Because there's a principle. What do you think they're rejecting, Jamie?
I feel like they're rejecting me. I take everything so personally. Like even the message that I got from our friend, I reread it because I thought reading it over and over might help me. I'm like, as I read it, I'm like, it really wasn't that mean. Yeah, he did block me and he did said he was sick of me and sick of my constant marketing is how he put it and stuff. And he said he was trying to be patient, but I kept reading it. I'm like, I've had worse. It really wasn't that bad, but I could not let it go. And I just took it so personally and just felt like it was like a mark against me, my character. And it made me afraid to even post. And I even looked at all my posts. I'm like, I'm not constantly marketing. You know, I just felt like I had to defend myself. And so, yeah, I take it very personally, like it's a personal attack towards me, even though it probably wasn't.
I doubt it. I mean, so several different things. One thing is that whenever I have someone that speaks something against me, a couple different things is that one thing I try to do is I try to, okay, look, step back, take a breath and look. Okay, so first thing is what they're saying true? I mean, I think that even when your enemies come against you, sometimes, I'm not saying this is the case for you, I'm just saying in general, when this happens to me, this is what I try to do is when somebody speaks out against me or whatever, the first thing I have to consider is is it true? It may be. Some of my enemies have been some of my best, for me, some of my enemies have been some of my greatest tools to help me grow because what they did say was true. So the first thing I do is I consider, okay, is what this person's saying true? If it is, I'll make my adjustments. If it's not, I reject it because it's not true. So I think it's incredibly important to be in balance because like I said, sometimes an enemy can tell truth. But if it's not true, then then you have to just reject it and move on. Like, and they're not rejecting you as a person. And it was something, I thought it was in Matthew 5, 6, or 7, somewhere in there. I was trying to find it there. But basically, when someone rejects, even Jesus shared this principle with his disciples, and it was just like, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the message. They're rejecting, they're rejecting me, ultimately, not you. And I think the same principles here. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the message. They're rejecting the product. Okay, so move on. The other thing to consider here is if they're a really close friend, I just don't block really close friends. Doesn't mean I buy everything from them either, but I just don't block really close friends. That's something to consider there.
Yeah, that was one thing I was thinking. I was like, he didn't even give me a chance to say, I'll never message you again. I apologize or anything. He just said his thing, blocked me, so I couldn't respond. Then he messaged my husband and I did. I'm like, maybe he wasn't as good of a friend as I thought he was. And then I felt bad that I was coming between him and my husband, but then my husband made a comment that he really wasn't a good friend. So
There you go.
I was like, but then I'm like feeling guilty. I just ruined my husband's friend. But then I'm like, no, that's just overreacting because I was very nice. And I didn't even over message. In 5 years, I've messaged him 3 times about Plexus. And one time he was interested. And I
Yeah,
followed up and then, so.
I would honestly go out for a steak dinner and just thank God for possibly getting rid of a not a good friend. What a blessing.
It's true.
I mean, I don't know. I just, yeah. I don't know. I have a lot I gotta be careful sometimes. So throw your hands up, just say, thank you, Lord, for that. Thank you. I just don't do that to my close friends. Now, if I have an issue, I'll bring it up, but I'm not blocking my close friends. So just wrestle with that a little bit. Maybe you're not maybe this is a good thing. So, I mean, Plexus or not Plexus related at all. Maybe this is a good thing. If that's what it takes, is just reaching out to someone with a product 3 times in 5 years, and then they're going to block you. That's what a blessing for you. You don't need that negativity in your life. Back to rejection and mundane. Let's cover this real quick. These are both real issues. And the thing is, we can tell ourselves, well, I love rejection. Listen, let's be honest. We don't like to be, there's not a soul on here that wants to be rejected by anybody on the planet, whether they're a good friend or whether they're not. We don't want to be rejected, right? And that's why, if we wanted to be, it's just, and that's why this is where some of these affirmation books and that are out there, I don't agree with, because it's like, I love rejection. No, you don't. You're going through verbal gymnastics. It's like a mental, you don't like to be rejected. If I hear someone say, I love to be rejected, I'll just reject them real fast and see how they do. Like, I love rejection. Oh, that's a really ugly shirt you got on. You know that? What? Well, I thought you loved rejection. The point is, we don't love rejection. No one wants to be rejected, right? I don't want to be rejected by anybody, right? We all want to be accepted. That's what kind of makes the gospel message so great. He gave us what we needed. It wasn't rejection. He gave us acceptance, right? So and that's what we crave. We crave that. So I think wrestling with the rejection is okay. I think that's okay. I think it's true. It's honest. That's an honest affirmation. I don't want to be rejected. But you have to go back and what are they rejecting? You have to kind of wrestle with that. Is my approach too rough? Is it too much? Is it just right? And these guys just has a problem. I mean, you have to kind of figure that out. And I think each situation's different. And as far as the mundane also, because I have both of these tie in together for people that are successful. Yeah, Angie says, bless and release. You can't bless him because he blocked you. So I guess you just have to release him. So whatever. He missed out on the blessing. See? Anyway, the mundane, the boring, the day-to-day in and out of messaging and posting and all the things we're supposed to do, and you get bored and following up. My gosh, I've followed up so many times with this person, right? All the things that bore you to death, right? The people that are successful in any area of life are very good at handling rejection, and they're very good at doing the boring day in and day out mundane things. Like those are the basics, right? Those are the basics, and being able to break through that idea of rejection and being able to break through doing the mundane, the boring, all those things is what successful people do. and they do it on a regular basis, like daily. I don't want to do this call today. I don't want to do a reach out today. I don't want to do a post today. I don't want to take my probiotic today. Yeah, well, the successful do. Right? This I don't want to go to the gym today. Okay, great. Well, the successful do. Right? I don't want to love my wife today. Well, the ones that are successful do. So just do it and get over it. All right, probably more for Megan's sake. I don't want to respect my husband today, right? He doesn't deserve it. I'm sure I don't. However, the successful will. And so it's those little mundane daily things that we have to do. You know, it's kind of like Vince Lombardi. If anybody watches football, he was the coach of the Green Bay Packers. The Super Bowl trophy is called the Vince Lombardi Trophy, right? Like arguably the best coach in the history of football. And the first day on the first year of every season, he would come into the gym, or his gym, the locker room, and he'd say, these are professional football players. And he would say the same thing every time. Gentlemen, this is a football. And that's where he started. He didn't start on difficult schemes and all this stuff. He started at the basics. One thing you'll start to see is that anybody that's successful in anything does the basics well. And that their plan is extremely simple and boring. If you study how the wealthy invest their money, it's so boring, it's ridiculous. It's not exciting, it's boring, it's slow, but it works every single time. And that's why they win. And it's the same way in our Plexus business. Some of these basics that we have to get over are exactly what's standing in your way of success. Rejection and doing the daily, day in, day out, boring, mundane things. I got to send my 5 messages today. Well, I don't want to. Well, send them anyway. So, perfect. We got some messages on our chat. Thanks. Yeah, Alicia's right. Maybe he has some things he's working through, and maybe you happen to be at the right place, right time, wrong place, wrong time, and he just let you have it. Just let him go, you know? Let him go. Another thing, yeah, I've been called a lot of, Megan and I have been called a lot of things. I have a few of them written down. They motivate me. What was the best one? You guys are propagandized Plexus minions. That came from a very, very close family member at a family lunch. So it's gotten worse than that, actually. But anyway, that's a whole nother.
Can I just say something?
Yep.
I'm Madison Ambrosetti. For anybody that doesn't know, Angie Ambrosetti's daughter-in-law. Aaron and I have been together since we were 16. And when she started this Plexus journey, we were so mean to her. Like, we were so mean. This is so embarrassing. Why are you posting all the time? What is wrong with you? You've done this before and it fails. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, so mean. There was like family meetings. It was bad. And I had to really suck up my pride when I decided to start this Plexus business. It was quite humiliating that I had to go to all these family members that we had talked amongst each other about how stupid Angie doing Plexus was. And I had to go to them and say, I'm gonna do Plexus. Ah! So talk about like really having to suck up your pride and like, but yeah, it's not always you. Like, it wasn't her that we just had a closed mind, and we were, you know, it was she. Yeah, I don't know, but if that's encouraging at all. And now look.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I wouldn't spend too much time on it. Again, we don't want to be rejected and all those things, but well, I have a question. This is something that I do if I'm rejected or someone says something bad, or it's a pyramid scheme or whatever. Let me ask you a question, Jamie. On this rejection that you've got, what did it do to change your health testimony?
Nothing.
Right. Exactly. Like you're sharing the truth and you're sharing something with people that has changed your life. That's why I keep sharing. Like no words, no rejection, no propagandized Plexus Minion comments, no blaming Megan of being a bad mother. That's happened also before because she's in Plexus and neglecting her children. That's been a rumor that's flown around, which is extremely laughable. Anyway, those comments and those attacks have nothing, they don't alter the truth of what Plexus has done for us. Like my wife has hair that's not falling out in handfuls right now, right? Like there's nothing, so I just go back to truth. Always combat these things with truth. What's the truth? And those comments do nothing. They don't alter our testimony at all. My testimony is still my testimony. I'm sharing the same story now that I've shared for six years. We've been in it for 7. I've been sharing it for 6. It's the same story. I don't have to alter my story. You never have to alter truth. So when these things come, just fight it with truth. Fight it with what's true. The truth will set you free. That's in every area of life. Truth has a way of freeing you. So just stick with the truth when the attacks or the accusations or whatever come your way. Go back to truth. Okay, so the 30 minutes has turned into an hour. So it looks like we'll be sticking with an hour still moving forward, which is totally fine. So any other thing, we got about 5 minutes left before we move on. Anybody have anything else related to what we're talking about? Rejection, mundane goals, anything like that?
I have kind of a different one.
Yep.
And I've always tried to put my finger on it, and it wasn't until the Momentum meetup in Atlanta when Sally Lewis, I believe is her name, is that correct? Sally said something, and it struck me that's been my problem the whole time. And I thought that I was lazy. Like, I know what to do, right? Obviously, I have Angie helping me, telling me what to do, and I know I need to do these things. But then in my mind, I'm like, what do I do again? All the time. And Sally Lewis said, I thought I was lazy, talking about herself. And it struck me. I was like, that's my problem. Like, I think I'm lazy. And she started talking about how actually it's our brain telling us like these things are going to harm us. So like we're just telling ourselves we're not going to do them. And so when I heard that and got that out of the way, I feel like now I finally am like, oh, I'm not lazy. My brain's just telling me these things are going to hurt me. So a goal for myself this next year is to work on that, because I feel like that's a problem, because I know what to do and I know I need to be doing it every day.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, a lot of times it could be your brain. Your brain's designed to protect you, keep you happy, keep you comfortable, right? Like, that's why when you're running or something like that, when I'm running and I hit certain distance or whatever, it's like my brain's like, all right, stop. Why? It's trying to protect me. You have to push through that. And the cool thing is there's a lot of freedom on the other side of that barrier. When you decide to push through it, like if, for example, for running, if I get to mile 6 or mile 7 or mile 8, my brain is like, dude, you're 46. Like, we're moving towards cardiac arrest here. You know, the interesting thing is when I push through that, on the other side of that, you hit like a whole new, when you push through that barrier, it's like you hit a whole new, it's like a whole new strength. It's like you hit another gear, even mentally. It's like, okay, because your brain's like, okay, he's not stopping. We're going to stop. And so there's a lot of freedom on the other side of those barriers when you decide to push through them, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, or spiritual, whatever the thing is. So yeah, push through those things. That's great. Yeah, you're probably not lazy, and so just push through that. Yeah, push through it. Another thing is the other thing is if anybody on here thinks they're lazy, I know what to do. I'm not doing them because I'm lazy. It might be you're just afraid. It may not be that you're lazy at all. You might just be afraid. Again, that's a barrier. And it needs to be pushed through. Roberta mentioned here, let's see, we got about 3 minutes. So Roberta mentioned, I have a huge roadblock with online events. So in my mind, do an online event. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is not going to kick you off of Facebook for doing an online event. Like the thing is, we have these ideas. Well, what if this or what if that? Yes. What?
My problem is I'm not afraid of it or anything like that. I don't know how to organize it. And I don't know what to do with that, how to get it organized. And so I think I'm making something that should be simple really hard. So I have this like folder that I keep all the pictures in it. And then I have a document that I keep the written part. So I can go back, grab the written part, match it up with the picture, and do it like that. And then try to, have different posts for the different items and things like that I want to cover. Because I have not done an online event yet. I will do in person all day, every day and stuff like that. But I think I'm overthinking and trying to make this online event, how to organize it, too difficult. And that's the reason I haven't done it. So I have promised myself for the last 3 months I was going to do one and still haven't done one. And that was one of my goals on that white sheet, was that I was going to start, hosting at least one. I want to do one Facebook group and one Messenger group a week. And then Libby came up and challenged me. I'm like, okay, if I get challenged, I have to do it. So now I've got to figure out how to get this thing organized.
So a couple things. One, I know how to get you moving. Challenge Roberta.
That is for sure.
Now you're in trouble. So because I know what to do now. So the thing is with the online events. So one thing that was mentioned, I'll share this real quick, then we got to get going. But the thing is, I did mention the idea of doing a collective online event with everybody that wants to in this group. I did not make that happen. Do we still want to do that? And just do one together and we'll all know. Okay. We will have a date. I will have a date for an online event by the end of the day. And I'll post it and then we'll work the details out of how that's going to look and who's going to speak and how it's all going to go down. And we can all do it collectively. We can do it together. You can invite, and we should make it a challenge too. You should at least be able to invite like 3 people to the event. There's no fly on the wall. You can't sit in the pew. You have to get up and we have to make this thing happen. So maybe we'll do it something like that to where you have to at least invite 3 people to the event. Because inviting people to the events is a really big part of doing an event. Like people aren't just going to flock to your event. You're going to have to do some inviting. And so I will have.
Invite 3 people or have 3 people accept your invitation.
What's that?
We have to invite 3 people or have 3 people say yes to the invitation.
I'm not sure. How bad do we want to hit our goals?
Okay.
I don't know. So let me think on that.
I would say 3 yeses.
3 yeses.
See, I don't have a problem. I'll throw out 100 plus, invites. Is just getting the people to say yes to the darn invites.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other things we can do. Let me put some details together of this. I mean, you can do a giveaway. If you come, you get entered into a drawing to win a new car or whatever. And then people come. So let's put something together on that. Doesn't have to be a big giveaway. People just like giveaways, and so I'll have a date by the end of today, and I'll post it in the messenger group, and then we can start inviting. How far out do you think we need to do an event? 1 week, 2 weeks?
Justin, I'm going to say
So-
this. I have lots of events for my people coming up next week and this week. So can we do it after Super Saturday?
Yes, because
I was
Megan,
thinking after Super Saturday too.
so that's what I'm thinking as well, like the week of the 16th. Because Megan and I will be in Scottsdale for Super Saturday, and we'll be getting ready next week for that. So we'll make it we'll make it the week of the 16th, and I'll get the date written down on how all that looks and works. Okay. And we'll do it.
Please not a Tuesday night.
Well, I'll let you know. We have, it seems basketball, or volleyball like every night between now and the end of time. So I will let you know what night works. At this point, well, I'll look through it. I'll have to double check the athletic schedule and stuff too, but it'll be that week of the 16th. And we'll do one together, and then.
Is it going to be a Facebook group or is it going to be a Zoom like we talked about before?
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, Brooke and I did a Zoom.
I think there's benefits to both. I just did one on Saturday, and it was a like a wellness group. And the thing about that is being able to pop up like the 60-second testimonies is super easy in like the Facebook groups. But then on a Zoom, you're able to interact a whole lot more. So
Right.
I think it maybe need to be like, what's your goal? Although if there's enough of us on here, we can give testimonies during the event. So I don't know, Angie, I mean, not a lot of people attended ours that night, but it was good practice, and I had never
Yeah.
done one before. And, now I know how to do it, and I know how to screen share. And
Right.
I mean,
Oh.
I was nervous, but I don't know. I think there's benefits to both, but
Why don't we do a Zoom, and then why don't we do a Zoom, and then we can live feed it into the group? So we
Yeah.
kind of killed, because not everybody has Zoom, right, or whatever, but maybe we can figure out how to do both of them at the same time.
That's cool.
Yeah. Let me write that down. All right, cool. So I will post what the date for this online event that we're going to do, and then figure out if I think we can Zoom in, live stream it into the Facebook group, and then I'll also post a picture of those goal setting ideas. And so just really take some time to focus on those goals, and just start getting something down. You can always make adjustments to it. So, but just get started. Get started is one of the hardest things. So get started and get working on that. But I have got to run. Awesome call like normal. I'll get this recording up in the group as well. So guys, have a great day. It's going to be an awesome year. It's going to be an awesome online event. We are not giving a car away though, by the way. So that was just an example. So don't be posting that or sending that in your messages. Have a good day, guys. See ya.